Greetings learners, this is your Sir Brandon and I'm here to present the overview of the operations research modeling approach or about the different phases of OR. So let's start. Major topics to be discussed: the different phases of OR study. First, define the problem and how to gather data. Second, formulate a mathematical model. Third, derive solutions from the model. Fourth, test the model. Fifth, prepare to apply the model. And lastly, implement the model. Defining the problem and gathering data. Study the system and develop a well-defined statement of the problem. This includes determining specific objectives, constraints, interrelationships of areas to be studied, possible alternative course of action, and so on. In this stage, the OR team not just only solve the problem, but also advise the management and make recommendations. In here, normally the OR team works in a advisory capacity. The team performs a detailed analysis of the problem and then presents recommendations. Ascertaining the appropriate objectives is a very important aspect of problem definition. To this, it is necessary to first identify the members of management who will be taking part in the decision making. Full management support is needed during this stage. An OR study seeks solutions that are optimal for the overall organization. Optimal meaning most favorable or the best for the entire organization. OR teams spend large amount of time gathering relevant data about the problem. By this, it is necessary to install a computer-based management information system to collect such big data. Business firm achievement of goal benefits owners, stockholders, employees, customers, suppliers, government, or the entire nation as well. Formulating a mathematical model. In this phase, the problem is reformulated in a form that is convenient for analysis. Mathematical models are invaluable for abstracting the essence of the subject of inquiry. This is done by constructing a mathematical model that represents the essence of the problem at hand. Mathematical models of a business problem is the system of equations and related mathematical expressions that describe the essence of the problem. These models are invaluable or extremely useful, showing interrelationships of the elements. Mathematical models are represented by objective function, parameters, decision variables, constraints, etc. Objective functions or objective function represents the measure of performance, for example, profit. The parameters or constants, decision variables or those quantifiable decisions, and constraints or limitations. Deriving solutions from the model. In this phase, development of procedure or procedures for deriving solutions to the problem is done. Usually, a computer-based procedure is used utilizing powerful software packages. A common theme in OR in this phase is the search for the optimal or best solution. It includes post-optimality analysis because of uncertainties associated with real-world problems. A meta-heuristic approach or procedure in this phase provides both a general structure and strategy guidelines for designing a specific heuristic procedure to fit a particular kind of problem. When we say heuristic procedure, It means they are intuitively designed procedures that do not guarantee an optimal solution, whereas meta-heuristic as a higher level approach. During this stage, post-optimality analysis is also done. Post-optimality analysis is also called what-if analysis because it addresses the questions if what would happen to the optimal solution if different assumptions are made. Testing the model. This process of testing and improving a model to increase its validity is called model validation. Before using the model, a model validation is done to try to identify and correct as many flaws as possible. A more systematic approach to testing the model is to use a retrospective test. This test involves using historical data. However, this test has its own limitations. To circumvent this disadvantage, it is sometimes useful to continue the status quo temporarily. Documentation of the process used for model validation is important in this stage. This helps in diagnosing recurring problems. Preparing to apply the model. This is done after the testing phase has been completed and an acceptable model has been developed. The preparation will include the installation of a well-documented computer-based system that includes the model, solution procedure, including post-optimality analysis, and operating procedures for implementation. Installing a well-documented computer-based system for applying the model as prescribed by the management. In major OR studies, several months or longer may be required to develop, test, and install this computer system. Part of this involves developing and implementing a process that maintains the system as well as modifications if the need arises. Implementation stage. This is the last phase after a system is developed. This phase is critical because it is here that the benefits of the study are reaped. The success of the implementation stage or phase depends a great deal upon the support of both the top management and operating management. The implementation phase involves several steps to be successful. These are the steps. First, OR team gives operating management a careful explanation of the new system to be adopted and how it relates to operating realities. Second, these two parties share responsibility for developing the procedures required to put the system into operation. Third, operating management then sees that a detailed indoctrination or instruction is given to the personnel involved and the new course of action is initiated. Fourth, if successful, the new system may be used for years to come. Fifth, OR team monitors the initial experience with the course of action taken. And lastly, documentation. Conclusion. In this chapter, we point out that not only constructing and solving mathematical models, also there are other phases here are very important to the success of the study. Since OR is complex, the use of computers in developing a system is being practiced. Operation research requires considerable ingenuity and innovation. And take note that these phases of OR doesn't end and continues in a cycle that needs to cope up with the technological, economical changes in the future. Hope you've learned from this presentation. Thank you very much, learners. God bless, stay safe, and stay healthy.